from the jump of this game, right?
Mm-hmm.
When a team wins a coin toss and they elect to receive it and to start the game, that shows like, hey, like we think our offense is better than your defense. And then when it comes to overtime, after three straight 3 and outs, they win the toss and they elect to get the ball again and to start the overtime. It's like, wait, we haven't already kind of like showed you what we are about this game. I mean, like the stats are pretty nuts. I mean, you take away that first touchdown they get in the beginning of the game, because they get the ball, they get a first down, then they punt it. And then Mahomes throws a pick on the 4-yard line. They score, and that's really not a defensive touchdown, but we still, right. But then after that, throughout the entirety of the game, Jonathan Taylor, his worst outing in the first half of any game this year. I don't know what his totality was, but only 22 rush yards in the first half of that game. It was his lowest total of any first half of the season. And I will say it was weird because we weren't really blitzing a lot in that first half. We only blitzed 3 times in the first half of that game. And then we get down to the nitty-gritty of the second half of this game. From the fourth quarter to the end of the overtime, they only had 18 yards total of offense. They had their last 4 possessions of the game, all 3 of fourth quarter, were 3 and outs, and then their only possession in overtime, 3 and out. So when we needed it the most, we saw 95 step up. We saw Pinnell step up, our guy Mike Pinnell step up. Yeah. I mean, like Pinnell said on Wednesday, their role this week, and what they're going to do was they're going to shut down Jonathan Taylor. They're up for that test of shutting him down and pretty much make Daniel Jones have to make big time throws. And when it came to crunch time, Daniel Jones wasn't making throws, and Jonathan Taylor wasn't getting anything in that game. What did you guys make of Spags' game plan today, and how the defense kind of just stepped up and stopping this vaunted rushing offense?
I think it was a recipe for success. And to be honest with you, I wish we had done it to the 2 games prior to what we played today. Coming in, and he did some cover zero, had guys getting guys' faces, make an errant throw right off your back foot, and that changed the game for us. Chris Jones getting a little pressure, but that cover zero, man, is something. It is nasty. It is nasty because it's 1 or 2 ways the guys can go. It's either inside or outside, and so if you're playing them tight, all you have to do is stay in that guy's hip pocket, and hopefully, your quarterback's like, if I'm throwing off my back foot, I could get the ball off now. But if guys are in their face and they're coming from different places, it is hard to block when you have that. And so when you bring 7, and I think, man, to be honest with you, that's what changed the game. Because not only that, with just the blitz that you brought with the package, because we know that part of the problem is, guys generating pressures just by themselves with the front 4. That's just part of our game, and that's fine. But Spags trusts those guys to kind of get into the lanes, right into the gaps and create havoc. And that's what they did. So I think that was, he did a masterful job second half, just keeping them out, stopping Jonathan Taylor, making sure he didn't get outside the guys to out leverage them. But no, it looked good. It looked good. So.
Teja, your thoughts on Spags' game plan, specifically his second half?
I was going to talk about some of the things you said too. Yeah, I mean, not to get fooled by the 20 points. It's they were gifted 7 early on. They had 1 legit touchdown drive that entire game. In total, they had 10 drives. I don't count that. They shouldn't even let that last possession before halftime go. That should have been just going to overtime or halftime. So 10 real drives, right? So 1 that started at the 3-yard line, they scored on. 1 long TD drive, 2 field goals, and 6 punts. 4 out of those 6 punts, like you said, were in the fourth quarter in OT. All 3 and outs in the fourth quarter. So they just closed this game like shutting them down completely. That was Jonathan Taylor's second lowest output of the season, behind the Pittsburgh game, which they also lost. Shocker. But if you take away that 27-yarder, he ran 15 times for 31 yards. 15 for 31 outside that 27. And that's been our MO most of the season. When guys did well against us before this, it was usually they had like 1 decent run in the game. Everything else was just like stout at the line. And I had faith we would do that, but to do that against him is impressive. Because it wasn't like they were out of the game. They were winning a good portion of this game. There was no reason for him to only have 16 carries. So I think they got a little they got a little pass happy for some reason. You know what it was? It was like we switched. It was like that Switch movie, like Freaky Friday, like where we switched game plans. We ran the ball 30 times with Kareem Hunt. They ran the ball half with Jonathan Taylor. I mean, the stats are like overwhelming. I mean, we just dominated them so much. And yes, our offense stayed on the field to sustain long drives. That was great, but our defense just like stifled them. I was trying to, in the middle of what you're saying, JD, I was trying to get how Daniel Jones did in the second half. I mean, he incompleted. I'll do that in a second. He incompleted so many passes. He could not find someone. Again, timely blitzes. We hit it at the right time. I know our 4-man rush is still WIP work in progress, but Spags more than made up for it and finally found that edge he needed against Daniel Jones.
CRW had a really great game. JD, what do you think about Roland-Wallace's kind of, his snaps and rotations today? I thought he looked good. I mean, he had the pass deflection on that one blitz he had, which Bolton, if you guys had around, he would have had a pick there. Bolton could have arguably had 2 picks at the end of this game. But what did you make of kind of the rotations? Because I know people have kind of called into question some of the rotations of guys who are playing and not playing. We saw a little bit more of Jaden Hicks towards the end of that game in that fourth quarter. What did you make of the rotation of the guys who were out there today?
I think CRW is so today. I think if we still have, oh man, I was going to text y'all that sometimes some of that rotation, some of those combination of guys that's in there, I do believe that we're compromised a little bit. And I've seen that in our coverage. And so when we seen like, when they did drive the ball down and they did get some big plays, it was still some of those young guys who was out there who didn't put themselves in the right position to make the play. And so that was something I did see. So probably one of the things that you do is, okay, fine. If this might not be your strong suit, let me send you on the blitz then. Okay. Let's wreak havoc that way. So let me get the best out of you I can, and let's find out what that is. So I think he had an okay game. All right. I think Hicks came down and same thing, was just kind of okay. But I love that Spags is like, look, instead of sending these guys in zone, let me just send them. Okay. And the guys that's better at man, putting their hands on guys and pressure, let me do that way. And I think he found a winner doing it like that, as opposed to like just sitting them guys back in coverage. I'm just going to be honest here. That's what I saw. And so I think these guys still need to grow to understand exactly where they need to be in zone. Who do you have? Who you passing the ball off to? If you're not the guy, who is it then? It was that one blitz where we all backed out and they threw the one underneath, and it was just like, man, you know where you're going to. Who you got him, man? How you not pick him up? But look, these things are going to happen. These guys are still growing. But I do trust Spags to put guys in position. That's what he did in the second half. He started putting guys in position to start making plays. So defensively, I think Brian Cook played a really good job. He did a hell of a game, actually. He did a great job covering guys. Also, too, kind of on the outside. Chris Jones came in, showed up. But I think the defensive line, even though you might have seen, the sacks that you wanted to see, it was very effective. And it means taking 2, making sure Jonathan Taylor didn't get no extra yards. They stifled those guys at the line of scrimmage, and that's what you wanted to see. You wanted to see those guys win at the line of scrimmage. And so they held their own. They did. When Chris Jones needed to make a play, he made the right guard or anybody else look silly. And that's what you want. For you being the best player on defense, one of the top defensive players in the league total, he showed up to this game, and we seen the fruits of it. But with that, man, with that being said, Marcus, I still do believe there's some guys that we could work on. We could be that much better defensively, and that's the scary part, because it's like, man, if everything's clicking the way it should, we're gonna be a very dangerous team. We knew it. We just sometimes games like this kind of show exactly how good we really are.
Well, it showed you, and I think sometimes we do, like, as fans, people kind of get fixated on the pass rush, the sacks and not sacks. And I think this game, you watch this game from the jump, their first drive till the end of this game, our defensive line owned the trenches. We were getting back there. We were having our way with them. It seemed like we kind of were energized today more so than we had been in the last few weeks. I would say it just felt like I just saw an energy there. 95 maybe wasn't getting triple teamed as much as he usually is, but he felt like he was. It looked like old Chris Jones today, or younger Chris Jones today, not old Chris Jones, but Chris Jones of yesteryear today in this game. And I thought that kind of jumped off the TV screen from the first snap of the game.
They have a good O-line. That's probably why they thought their guys could just handle CJ more one-on-one. When you get mediocre lines or average lines and coaching staffs that don't have as much confidence, I think you're going to see a lot more double teams because they're like, you know what? We just know Jones is going to dominate our guy one-on-one. Let's just throw it out there. Let's just throw that 1 and 2 double team out there to start it off. Final thoughts on Taylor, by the way. 5 carries of 0 or negative yards. Only 3 carries of over 5 yards.
Man, I mean, they got negative yards at very pivotal moments of that game.
Those are big carries. Those are really big carries. And Jones in the second half, 8 of 19.
Rough. Yeah, that was a big game for Daniel Jones. He's not used to being in a spot like that. I thought it reminded me of we talk about different game plans. Like generally in the past, we played Lamar. It seems like the Ravens always get out of their like normal game plan for running the ball, shoving the ball, running down teams' throats, and they try to get into this like duel between Lamar versus Mahomes, and that's what it kind of felt like because they just abandoned the run game. I mean, I know we were stopping the run, but like you're going to kind of die on the Daniel Jones sword. You're not going to try to continue to carry it out with Jonathan Taylor. I thought that was kind of interesting for them to kind of go away from that.
Well, no, but I mean, not really. I mean, if you stop in the run, we did some third downs, like was stifling them, right? That's like when you see things like that, you're sitting there thinking, okay, we got a great tight end. Okay. We got 3 capable wide receivers. Okay. To do a very good job. Do we match up well? And so they believe they did. So we know Tyler Warren he's a star in the making. Okay. Pittman is, he's one of the most underrated wide receivers in the league. Pierce does a great job catching the football, high pointing it, and downs. He's going to give you something. So they're a scary group. They are. They're a scary group. So it's not like as good as Jonathan Taylor is, their wide receiver group is just as good. Okay, that core group of guys. The issue is, do you protect Daniel Jones enough so he could throw the football? And I said this, and I was just like, Daniel Jones, he needs a guy like Jonathan Taylor to be hot. Because you leave it in his hands, is he going to be able to make the throws? And so when he started doing off the back foot and stuff like that, I mean, Jonathan Taylor wasn't really eating a whole lot either. And so that was a good thing about it because we've seen our linebackers actually start coming downhill. Tranquil, Bolton, Shadell, those guys was like, they were really playing the run as they should have. And so when you start playing, tighter to the line of scrimmage, you don't give them any type of room. They had that one long run where they pulled the left guard to kick out. And they kind of watched all our guys down. And so as a defensive player, what you're trying to do is just stifle, shed, and come off and make the block or make the play. And we didn't do that. And I think Jonathan Taylor went up the sideline. I forgot what that run was. It was his longest run.
27 yards. 27
yards, right? And so that was like, okay, all right, shoot. Now they're going to start running the football. But then the Chiefs was like, okay, well, let's stay with our game plan, how we were stopping them before. And they were just doing a good job of it. So, a team that I think is balanced, and I said that I think the Colts was a team that was for real.
Hi, everybody. Thanks for watching. Subscribe here to get the latest from the show. Also, be sure to check out the best clips from Chief Concerns. And if you prefer to listen to the show, subscribe and follow us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and anywhere else you get your podcasts.